it is Jack and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be telling you guys what it is that I use to shoot all of my sit-down videos just like this one. And I will tell you before I even start, this whole entire setup, including the camera, including the lens, including the microphone, absolutely all of it, probably costs no more than $1,000. So this video is going to be cut into 3 sections: lighting, audio, and camera setting. We'll start with lighting. For that I use a kit that has been linked in the description box of all of my videos since I got this new studio. I don't remember what company made it, but I absolutely love it. It's a great kit that when used correctly can get some absolutely amazing and perfect lighting. But how, you may be asking, do I get even lighting like this? Well, you need to use something called 3-point lighting. I did an entire video on 3-point lighting, but before we even get into any of this, I just want to explain how 3-point lighting works. So you have the key light over here, and that's the brightest light, and that fills up like 75% of my face, but this side of my face is still a little bit dark, which actually looks fine by itself because that can create a bit of a dramatic look. But if you want to fill in the shadows and get an even light, you need the second light, which is called the fill light, which is much smaller, farther away, and much less bright, and fills in the extra 25% of your face, as well as filling in any extra shadows that the key light might have missed. But the problem is when you're just using 2 lights in front of a black background, you can often look like a 2D figure, as if you're almost melting into the background. So to make yourself look defined in 3D, you need something called a hair light. A hair light goes on top and can often hang from the ceiling. I use one on a boom arm, but a little tip: if you're going to use a hair light, you want to put it on half brightness or less, because if it's too bright, you can often overexpose your shots. As you can see, if you go back to my VR for $8 video, my hair light was right there and it was at full brightness and I looked like a ghost. I was so pale. But in total, that kit cost $160, and it also came with this backdrop and a ton of extra stands. I would definitely recommend it. I'll leave it linked in the description. But now for audio. I'm not going to talk too much about this because I did an entire video on my exact setup. I'll leave it linked in the description. But I use a Rode Video Mic Go mounted on a boom pole that's connected via an extension cord to my camera. But finally, let's get into camera settings. So as far as my camera settings, I use a shutter speed of 250, an f-stop of 5.6, and ISO 1600. But before I even get into that, I just want to say I don't recommend at all using those exact settings, because this kind of stuff is completely dependent on your studio, and unless you have the exact same studio, it won't work for you. So I want to teach you guys how to come up with your own by first teaching you what they all mean. ISO, in my opinion, is the worst one, and in my opinion, kind of my last resort. Basically, the way ISO works is it's digitally brightening the image, and that's what creates grain. So I try and keep my ISO at 1600 or below, because at least with this camera, any higher will give you some grain. Next up, you have shutter speed, which can be controlled via that little dial on top of your camera. I have mine set at 250. Shutter speed, in my opinion, is the first resort and the first thing that I always go to. Honestly, when I'm vlogging, I never really touch the aperture or ISO. At 200 shutter speed like this, it's a little bit overexposed, and at 320, it's a little bit underexposed. So at least for me, 250 is really the sweet spot. And then finally, you have f-stop. Your f-stop has to do with how much light is getting let into the lens. So for example, if you're at f1.8, it's going to be letting in the most amount of light into your lens, and you're also going to get an insanely blurry background. But then maybe stop down to like f5.6, which is what I'm using right now, and you'll get maybe a blurry background if you really try, but that's just about the edge. Any higher than that, and it just keeps getting darker and darker and darker, and the higher f-stop you go, the less blurry your background will be. By the time you get to like f8, you will basically have fixed focus, which means that everything is in focus. For me, because I have a black background, f5.6 is perfect because the background's a little bit blurred, so any wrinkles or something are completely unnoticeable. But I don't need it to be any lower because I don't need a blurred out background, it's just black. But guys, that is pretty much it for this video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like. Let's see if we can get this video to 25 likes. That would just mean the world to me. I'll see you guys next time. I'm Jack. Peace out. By the way, guys, I really do apologize for all my horrible sunburn. It will be gone soon. I'm sorry. The sun gods just decided to attack me today.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get respect up on the street.